Ben Franklin and the Legend of the Vajra. Woo! Written by R.A. Frankel, Johnny Lee Jr., and Justin Anthony Long. Exterior Main Street, Colonial Philadelphia. Music swells over a rooftop to reveal a bustling Main Street. Title shot, Benjamin Franklin and the Legend of the Vajra! Exclamation point. Horse-drawn carriages, townsfolk, and food vendors fill the street. In an upstairs window, an ugly woman throws brown, shitty water onto the cobblestone street, hitting someone below. We hear a scream.
Aw, come on!
Deal with it!
Below is a drenched Georgie, late 20s, a Michael Cera type. He squeegees out his wet hat, puts it on his head, and starts to make his way through the crowd. He runs under a giant banner that says, Lord Byron's Fabulous Philadelphia Fair, come or die!
Excuse me, have you seen Ben? Has Ben Franklin come by?
People shake their heads, no.
Excuse me, old man bookseller, have you seen Ben?
The last time I saw that charlatan, his piece of shit invention put my daughter's entire wedding party to sleep. The groom still hasn't woken up.
We see a sleeping man wearing a fancy suit covered in dust, snoring.
The glass harmonica? That's one of his best inventions.
Oh, well, why don't you go lick his arsehole, you brown-nosing cumbucket? Yeah, well, get out of here, boy. Scram before I make you lick my arsehole.
Georgie runs off. Set atop a bejeweled throne, Lord Byron, 30s, a foppish and richly dressed Will Ferrell type, is carried by strong men dressed in leather.
That's right. Heave-ho, bitches. You three, more posters on that window. Barry, my sippy drink.
Barry, a feminine henchman with a handlebar mustache, puts a straw and drink to Byron's mouth. Suddenly, a tomato flies at the throne.
Damn it!
You're a disgrace to these colonies! You suck, Byron!
Fuck
Byron!
Byron!
Not Byron!
More vegetables and appliances fly at Byron's throne.
Barry!
Barry raises an axe, and as it comes down, we hear a scream. Cut to, Georgie runs into Betsy, 20s, a Rebel Wilson type, knitting with a giant golden needle. She wears a Fathers of Freedom patch on her lapel.
Hi, Betsy. Wow. You look lovely today. New top?
Through his POV, we see how buxom she is.
Yeah, I knitted it myself after the Fathers of Freedom Poetry Slam last night. Oh, it's so hot. Oh, I even sewed Alexander Hamilton on the back of my skirt so I can sit on his face whenever I want.
Cool needle. You haven't seen Ben, have you?
No, I don't even care to either. It's a fucking disaster, George. Finding a new friend would do you well.
I'd like to do you well, too.
What?
Ben is my best friend. He's special, Betsy, and he'll prove it one day.
Georgie runs through town, finally coming upon a crowded demonstration. On a raised platform, we reveal our hero, Ben Franklin, 20s, a young Josh Gad type, in front of a curtain.
My fellow Philadelphians, are you tired of burning your bread on the fire? Has using an open flame been a constant hazard to you, your livestock, and your small children?
We see a young child covered in burn bandages.
Do your stews and soups constantly boil over, making you spend hours and hours cleaning up stinky meat?
Stinky meat!
Well, fear not, my fellow Philadelphians. Behind this curtain lies the answer to your culinary prayers.
In a grand flourish, Ben whips the curtain off. People gasp. He reveals...
Behold, the Franklin stove.
People, ooh, just like that, yeah. The stove looks like any simple stove with an oven door, but above it is some kind of Rube Goldberg contraption.
The Franklin stove was created with cutting-edge technology, complete with a fireplace stove, state-of-the-art go switch, and live chicken timer.
Live chicken!
And it can all be yours today. That's right. You could bring home your very own Franklin stove today for 5 easy payments of 5 pine tree shillings.
How do we know it actually works?
Yeah, chicken!
But of course, my brothers and sisters, may I have a volunteer? You there, Sister Beatrice, step right up.
The crowd cheers and separates, revealing Sister Beatrice handing out loaves of bread to the poor. She looks around. Who, me? And gets up on stage.
Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. Sister Beatrice, to trigger the stove, simply climb this ladder and feed the chicken.
He gives her some seed and sends her up.
Beatrice, Beatrice, Beatrice.
Beatrice.
Ben signals to the crowd to join, and they do.
Oh, God, that is high.
Now, sister, give these people a taste of the life of convenience that could be theirs for 5 easy payments of 5 pine tree shillings.
She feeds the chicken as everyone waits in anticipation. The chicken swallows, lets out a squawk, and lays an egg. The egg hits a lever that releases a ball. The ball travels down the contraption. The crowd's eyes follow the ball from side to side. It releases signs. As they pop up, the crowd reads them aloud. Food time!
Yummy.
Imagine what you might do with your free time. You could start a book
A
club.
blind man sighs.
Spend more time with your children.
A portly woman about to spank her child with a spoon stops short.
Or have more time at home with your special someone.
2 secret lesbians slowly make contact.
It's almost done.
The ball finally reaches the oven. The door opens and steam comes out and reveals a perfectly cooked turkey. The crowd cheers loudly. Ben really milks it, putting his hand to his ear. I can't hear you, and the crowd roars again. Suddenly, a spark flies off the stove and hits the ladder. The crowd gasps.
Oh, no.
Everyone remain calm.
The fire spreads and begins to burn the ladder more.
Fire.
Just a little fire.
Ben tries blowing out the fire and hitting it with the blanket. The ladder breaks and Sister Beatrice falls into a nearby well.
My God, why?
We hear her scream all the way down.
Sister Beatrice, it's okay. Everyone relax. She's all right.
The stove bursts into flames and fire spreads. Chaos ensues. The young child's burn bandages are on fire. The stinky meat guy is grilling meat over the fire. Stinky. The chicken guy is predictably chasing a chicken. Sister Beatrice tries to climb out of the well, but falls back in.
Shit.
Exterior Philadelphia street, day. Half the town is burnt. Ben is getting reprimanded by the British officers. Georgie watches from nearby with Betsy holding her giant needle.
Destroying private property, endangering the innocent, burning a perfectly good turkey, ruining...
Happy you found your friend?
He means well, Betsy.
Means well. Look around.
He's trying to make the world a better place.
British officer number 2 hands him a long list of fines.
That comes to a total of 374 pine tree shillings.
374 pine tree shillings. I'd have to sell at least 15 Franklin stoves to make that kind of coin.
Son, get a fucking grip. No one is buying any of your lunatic inventions of mass destruction.
The British officers leave as Georgie comes running up behind Ben.
That was way harsh.
Don't let that dick-faced redcoat get to you.
Yeah, this is bullshit, Georgie. I'm being punished for trying to help everyone.
Well, you did burn down half the colony.
I thought I worked out all the kinks.
Now we'll never get into the Fathers of Freedom Club.
You really think that they'll hear about this?
A house comes crashing down.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, lift your head up, Georgie Porgy.
I hate it when you call me that.
You have to stay positive. You and I, we were born to be fathers of freedom. If only we could get involved.
Suddenly, an old man soothsayer, 200s or Rizwan Manji type, comes out of nowhere.
Get involved, you say.
Oh! You scared the shit out of me.
You scare easy as a lion cub. You'll never get into the Fathers of Freedom Club.
Well, what do you know anyway?
What I know will bring you much delight. The Fathers of Freedom will meet at midnight.
Tonight? Georgie.
Father Barry and Father Pickless died this afternoon from syphilis. 2 old fathers have departed. 2 new fathers will get started.
2 new fathers? That could be us!
Tonight at midnight at Marsh Creek, you'll find exactly what you seek. Prove your bravery to the fates. Your destiny awaits.
He covers his face with a cloak as if he's about to vanish in a puff of smoke.
Varakamura!
Nothing magical happens. Then,
Bye.
the soothsayer plainly walks away.
This is our chance, man.
Are you sure about this? That guy was crazy and totally random.
Believe in something greater than what's right in front of you, Georgie. Just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not there.
What I saw was a decaying, truly frightening alcoholic man spewing brittles.
Don't be a bitch. Our destiny awaits.
He throws his trusty knapsack over his shoulder. Bell kicks in the air and runs off. Georgie runs after him. The music grows ominous as we pan over to see the back of Lord Byron's bejeweled throne being sat down by his henchmen.
What in the fuckity fuck happened?
My lord, a local inventor's contraption broke down and brought fire upon the village.
What about my fare? Am I supposed to have it among this yucky trash, this icky rubble?
Sister Beatrice finally climbs out of the well.
You!
And he shoves her in, and she screams all the way back down again.
You don't even get it. Being the Lord is really hard.
I'm still alive.
It's a job, okay?
My left kneecap is shattered and I soiled myself.
People look up to me. You don't even get it. You just don't get it.
The henchmen exchange looks as a messenger rides in on a horse.
Lord Byron, I have this urgent letter for you from King George.
Barry.
Barry grabs the letter and reads it aloud.
Dear Byron, yes, that's right, just Byron. Don't like it? Well, you'd better get used to it, because I'll be stripping you of your title if you can't get those miserable, uncouth colonists under your control. I hear they defecate on your doorstep every fortnight. Fitting, since you're nothing more than a stinking pile of excrement. Imagine me laughing and drawing dicks on your portrait with the Queen. Ha ha. Ha ha ha.
Byron smacks Barry across the face with his glove. Barry is startled, but he likes it.
Can you skip this part?
Perhaps it may be time to use force. I recommend that piece of inherited scrap metal you so lovingly cherish. What did you call it? Your golden Vaj? Ha ha. Ha ha
Vajra! It's called a Vajra! He doesn't even know the endless possibilities it possesses.
You know what to do with utmost regret, His Royal Majesty Uncle George.
I want this shit cleaned up by the end of the week. That dirty old crotch sniffer has been up my delicate little fanny since I arrived in Philadelphia. If he wants the colonists to love and fear me, then so be it.
My lord, what is a Vajra?
He sits down on a throne.
The Vajra. Why, it's none of your business, that's what it is.
Still here. Still here.
The music grows dark as he is hoisted on his throne and carried off towards his estate in the distance. Interior, the Franklin cottage. Ben comes in through the front door and drops his knapsack.
Honey, I'm home.
No one responds. He smiles, grabs a jar of honey off the table, letting some ooze into his mouth before popping the lid back on.
Greasing up my thinking wheels.
In his mind's eye, Ben sees several of his inventions. Someone is slapped with slappy slaps. Ben saws a tiny tree with a baby saw. A wedding party falls asleep while Ben plays his glass harmonica.
I know there's something great in my noggin. Something great. Something that'll change the world and make a difference. I need to find a spark.
Ben strains his face to think. Flashback to interior Franklin family home night. Baby Ben, age 7, holds a tiny kite as he is reprimanded by his father and brother.
Benjamin, there is no spark. Stop all this inventing nonsense and join your brother at his printing press.
Back the hell off, Dad.
It's okay, Father. Ben's head's always been in the clouds. Let him have and reach for the sky.
The sky?
Father grabs the kite and throws it to the ground.
Get a grip, son. Stop dreaming your silly dreams.
Baby Ben picks up the kite in tears. Cut back to Ben holds his tiny kite.
Without freedom of thought, there can be no such thing as wisdom. Fuck. Maybe they're right. Maybe I should just quit.
Ben stands up, goes to throw the kite out the window, but hesitates. He puts it in his coat, walks over to his bed, and collapses. Interior, the Washington estate. The Washington family is having dinner. Georgie's parents, Augustine, 60s, and Mary Ball, 60s, sit at the heads of the table. Georgie and his siblings, Samuel, the youngest, Charles, Mildred, Betty, and John, all slightly younger than Georgie, also sit and eat dinner.
It sure is a shame Lord Byron's gay old fair has been postponed.
It's Benjamin Franklin's fault.
Stop it, Mildred.
You know it is. If he wasn't always inventing this and inventing that, perhaps our home would be a safer place.
Well, if he weren't such a fucking bitch.
George, Martha, Washington.
Ben Franklin is one of the best guys I know.
Why don't you marry him?
The kids all snicker.
Ben and Georgie sitting in the tree. K-I-S-S-I.
Stop it.
First comes love, then comes marriage,
Then comes the baby in the
pram.
That's enough. You're not to see that boy again, George.
But Ben and I are supposed to go to the farm.
Augustine dramatically throws the entire turkey at the wall.
Nice job, asshole.
Interior Ben's bedroom. Ben lies in bed. We see his thoughts above, including blueprints for an invention, a buxom blonde, a turkey leg, and finally...
Tonight at midnight at Marsh Creek, you'll find exactly what you seek.
Ben jumps out of bed, puts on his sleekest, coolest, most iconic outfit, something like Ben Franklin meets a superhero. He grabs tools and inventions off his wall and puts them into his knapsack. Interior Georgie's bedroom. Georgie sits in bed and hears Augustine and Mary Ball in the hallway talking.
The other children doing all quite well. But what's to become of George? Do you think he's on the spectrum?
Perhaps he's a late bloomer.
Or perhaps he's just not destined to become a leader.
Georgie hears a tap at his window. Exterior, outside the Washington cottage. Ben throws a bigger rock at Georgie's bedroom window and breaks it.
Whoopsies.
Georgie opens the window.
Ben, what are you doing? It's almost midnight. My Georgie Porgy pudding pie. The fathers of freedom await.
My parents said I can't go out.
Well, stop being such a pouty Pamela.
It's not a thing.
We'll never get involved if we miss this.
Georgie considers this and hears his mother's voice.
Perhaps he's just not destined to become a leader.
Georgie starts to climb out the window.
Oh yeah, Mom?
Are we role-playing?
Okay. I'm in.
Okay, Georgie, my turtle dove, just jump into my mommy's arms.
Can you not say it like that?
Why not? Don't you want me to hold you like a widow baby?
Just shut up. Ready?
Your mother is always...
Georgie lands on Ben's face and they both go down.
Thanks, Mom.
A disheveled Ben stands up. Then Mildred lands on Ben, same as Georgie did. Ben gets up again.
What the hell, Mildred?
Sneaking out, same as you fuckwads.
One by one, all the Washington children land on Ben, ready to sneak out. The last to go is Samuel.
Thanks a lot, fat ass.
Exterior Marsh Creek, midnight. A drum beat pulses. 4 hooded guys take the stage. At first, the mood is solemn, scary, cult-like. Suddenly, the drum beat becomes more contemporary sounding, and the 4 hooded guys do a fierce "so you think you can dance" combination. During the dance,
Wow, they are so cool.
the dance ends as the drummer hits the final beat. The pledges all erupt into applause. This is a full-on frat party. One of the hooded guys reveals himself. It is Alexander Hamilton, a Jason Sudeikis type.
It's Alexander Hamilton. I'm losing my mind.
He cuts off the applause with his hand, and everyone is instantly quiet.
Pledges, to be seated.
Awesome.
Everyone sits on the ground.
What's up, you fucking bitches? All right. Yeah, my name is Alexander Hamilton, and I'm one of the original fathers of freedom. Beside me are my brothers.
Each hooded guy reveals himself as he is announced.
We got Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, John Hancock, and soon 2 new brave souls will stand here as well.
Ask yourselves, you little cock nuggets, where do your loyalties lie? With the red coats or with the colonies?
The colonies.
Dude, I wasn't finished.
Oh, sorry, Mr. John Hancock. Did you know that you're like my favorite father of freedom? I mean, if I had to pick one, that is, John Hancock. What a powerful last name, and gee whiz.
Enough. Wait a minute. Aren't you Ben Franklin?
Okay. You know who I am?
Of course I do. You're the fucking cunt stain who burnt down half the colony today.
All heads turn towards Ben.
That wasn't me.
Yes, it was, with your fucking stove.
Franklin Stove.
Dude, you're a joke. You really think you can be a father of freedom?
Others join in the laughter.
get for you is freedom of life. Cause we'll be dead. Cause you killed us. From one of your inventions.
Tight joke. People are
All right, now let's get down to business. Where do your loyalties lie?
Ben gets up to leave.
Ben, wait.
I'm no leader.
What are you talking about? You led me here to this meeting tonight. You have every right to be a father of freedom. Let's just hear what they have to say.
Where do your loyalties lie?
The colonies!
Do you want to free us from the chains of the British Empire?
Yes!
Well, then prove it, bitch. Your mission, if you're brave as you claim, is to infiltrate Lord Byron's estate, steal a rose from his rose garden.
We see blueprints like in a caper film.
Are you brave enough to scale the 50-foot wall that surrounds his estate? Will your cunningness and speed save you from the jaws of his pet bear, Reggie?
Pet bear? Reggie? What the fuck?
After you retrieve a rose from his precious rose garden and return it by sunrise.
Only 2 spots left. If you haven't heard that on the street, because people have been talking about it.
Yeah, as many of you know, we recently lost 2 fathers of freedom due to...
The natural causes.
Yep, natural causes.
I thought it was syphilis.
Your mom has syphilis!
Shut up. All right, only 2 pledges will take their place beside us. Only true heroes can free a nation. Will you be among them?
Yes!
Well then, what are you ladies waiting for?
Madison pulls out a rifle and begins to load it. It takes a really long time. We cut to see the pledges are all smiling, waiting in anticipation.
Did you put gunpowder in this?
I thought Jefferson was doing that.
I choreographed that whole fucking opening number. You expect me to do everything?
You agreed you were going to bring the powder.
That's not even the right gun. What? You took my dad's musket. I told you to take the black musket.
All muskets are black, you cock gobbler.
You guys are fucking worthless.
The pledges are still waiting and smiling. Hamilton points the gun in the air.
Boom. Go, run!
The pledges flee. Ben jumps up.
I'll show that Hancock.
Ben starts off toward the mansion.
Ben, wait. This is serious shit. Lord Byron is savage. If we get caught...
Georgie Porgy, put a little worry. I thought you said not to give up.
Yes, but that was before it involved a vicious bear and Lord Byron. One time I saw him cut off a man's leg because he didn't like the way he walked.
What is your destiny?
To become the leader of a great colony.
Ben starts to run towards the garden.
Then move it or lose it, Georgie Porgy.
It's not my fucking name!
Exterior Lord Byron's estate grounds. Ben and Georgie crash down over the wall surrounding Lord Byron's fancy estate. A giant object covered by a sheet is guarded by many men.
What the hell is that thing?
Phil and Terry run out with roses in hand.
Move it, taint liquor.
They've already got roses.
There must be another way we can improve ourselves, or maybe there's something better.
Ben comes out of the bushes and starts toward the house.
Ben, what are you doing?
He checks if the coast is clear and runs after him. Ben peeks into a window. It's dark inside.
Ben, this isn't a good idea. Why don't we steal a bouquet of roses instead of 1 or 2?
Ben tries the window. It's open.
Oh, hey, no fucking way. I am not going in there.
My sweet Georgie Porgy.
Stop.
We see something move in the window behind them.
We've already come this far. If we leave now, forget about the Fathers of Freedom. Forget about getting involved, having friends, and making a difference. And forget about Betsy ever knobbing your needle.
We can see the bear's yellow eyes in the window.
I do want that. And it's not a needle. It's more like a plump sausage.
Yeah. If we become Fathers of Freedom, not only will Betsy swallow down that sweet water
Georgie notices the bear and freezes in fear.
But Lord Byron and his silly bear will choke down that thick mortadella for breakfast. Was that your dick?
Run!
The bear crashes through the window and chases them. Cut 2. Interior Lord Byron's fancy vestibule. Ben and Georgie are thrown to their knees. Lord Byron comes storming in wearing a Chinese silk bathrobe with cucumber slices under his eyes.
They are painting my festival portrait tomorrow at the ass crack of dawn, and you wake me from my dreaming hour. And on top of that, you ruin my precious rose garden during my dreaming hour.
He throws the cucumber slices on the floor.
Lord Byron, Lord, sir, what a lovely sleeping robe.
That sort of thing. 4 small children went blind sewing it. Worth it. Wait. You're just trying to butter me up.
My lord, what my well-intentioned friend is trying to say is...
Lord Byron backhand slaps Georgie and he lets out a blood-curdling scream that can be heard throughout the colony. Interior Lord Byron's dungeon. Georgie and Ben sit in the dark, cold dungeon. Ben plays a bluesy tune on a harmonica. Georgie, terrified, spots a skeleton sitting in a bored position. Looks to the right of it, another skeleton playing an instrument similar to Ben's.
Oh my God. We're going to die here.
Stop your worrying, Georgie. We'll be out of here in no time.
My mother was right. I should just stayed home and been a good boy and done my chores and set my bed and said please and thank you and not asked for the extra potato last Friday evening. It was selfish of me and I'm never going to amount to anything besides the friend of a failed inventor and the life of an extra potato craving pecker.
Chill the fuck out. Don't I always get us out of a bind?
You usually get us into binds.
And what gets us out?
Nothing. I'm pretty sure we're still in all the binds you've bounded us in. Binded? Bound.
I'm going to get us out of here, I promise. Look what I have.
Your knapsack.
Tucked in between my stomach and man boob. That'll teach Father that there's no such thing as too many spotted dicks in my mouth.
He pulls out a tiny saw.
I call it baby saw. Because it's very small.
I got it.
Ben begins to saw vigorously on one of the bars. It's not doing very much. From the darkness we hear...
Give it to me.
Who's there?
A mysterious boy, 20s, dressed in black with a French accent, emerges from the darkness.
Let me try.
He takes it from Ben.
Hey.
The mysterious boy goes to the lock and with a few maneuvers, pops the cell door wide open. One of the skeletons rushes out the door, startling Georgie.
My invention worked! Ah! It really worked! Hey, you, come back here with my baby saw.
Interior Lord Byron's trophy room night. The mysterious boy looks around a corner and spots a giant bust of Lord Byron with a beautifully ornate necklace hanging around its neck. He cautiously surveys the room, seeing a plethora of sexually explicit statues. With a few acrobatic moves, he reaches the central bust. Interior Lord Byron's estate hallway night. Simultaneously, Ben and Georgie run up to a window just in time to see the mysterious boy.
How'd he get all the way down there?
Ben points towards an open window to the right and notices a thin roof that connects the buildings.
Let's go.
Ben leads a nervous Georgie across. Cut back to the mysterious boy does an Indiana Jones type object switch, replacing the necklace with an equally weighted object. Necklace in hand, he smiles and turns to go, but falling from the window.
What are you doing, you imbecile?
Hey, give me back my...
Georgie lands on Ben.
Seriously?
Follow me, and you die.
The mysterious boy puts on the necklace and with precise acrobatic skills begins escaping.
Who is this guy?
Give me back my baby saw!
Ben, wait!
Ben doesn't listen and runs full speed ahead, tripping every single trap that the mysterious boy avoided. Georgie at his heels, in slow motion, narrowly misses death several times over. The erotic statues unleash their booby traps. Alarms blare! Dicks of naked statues shoot acid. Asses shoot fire. Eyes shoot lasers! What? They make it across. Georgie is out of breath.
Come on, Georgie, what are you waiting for?
Shut the fuck up.
Exterior Lord Byron's estate grounds. The mysterious boy is surrounded by multiple guards. Up above at a tower, Lord Byron opens a window and screams,
That fucker has my Vajra!
The guards attack and the mysterious boy fights back, but is clearly outnumbered. Ben and Georgie come stumbling out. The mysterious boy tries to use Ben's baby saw as a weapon, but it gets kicked out of his hand.
Oh, my baby!
Ben knocks over a broom that triggers a series of other objects knocking over other objects that result in pulling the big sheet off the giant object we saw earlier. The sheet falls onto the guards, saving the mysterious boy.
You idiots, they're spoiling my special project!
Everyone looks up to behold the grandest and gaudiest and largest statue of Lord Byron.
What?
The actual fuck. This is what our taxes are going to?
Get them!
Get them!
The trio start to run.
Stop following me!
I have nowhere else to go.
Lord Byron jumps out of his window and lands on the back of his bear. The bear roars loudly.
I am fire!
Oh my god!
The three run as the bear charges. Guards finally escape the sheep and give chase. The three reach a dead end. Their pursuers not far behind. Georgie notices a bunch of crates. One is open.
Quick! In there!
They stumble into the crate. End section.
I think we can all say a prayer for Sister Beatrice right now.
Yeah.
I think she needs it. You can go first.
Well, it's hilarious. It's fantastic. It's an amazing tone. Surprises with every line, and that's hard to do. It's really. I mean, you heard the laughter, so. And that was a tribute to the performers. Fantastic, you guys. It's not possible that was a cold read, was it? Really?
Yeah.
That's insane. Really, really good, and the lines are great, and everything. It just had such life. It's fantastic. A couple questions for you, and then how old is this team of people whose names we know, the Ben Franklins and Hamiltons?
Well, like historically, obviously.
No,
I know. But Benjamin Franklin was like 30 years older than George Washington. But in this,
They're like
20s,
early 20s.
Yeah. I mean,
not super bad world, but a little bit older.
Yeah. They have to be, and are they all the same age? I'm just trying to.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a real tension there with I want to be with the end guys.
Yeah.
The cool guys here, which is good. That's fantastic. So I mean, what you have is, I mean, what look, it's the scenes are funny, the energy's great, the pacing of it's fantastic. A little bit of context would help me enjoy it a little bit more, which is just that we're going to reinvent the events preceding the Revolutionary War here, right? And with our own sort of eyes, sort of in a Life of Brian way, like reinvent the events that are there. So perhaps knowing that a bit going in, and this Vajra, right? Which I don't know where it's going with that, but I assume it's a secret weapon that if these gentlemen didn't get together, the history of the United States would have turned out a different way, right?
That's right.
You may.
Just before, there is, these guys did tell me that this starts, what we heard tonight starts on page 7, that there was there's a future guy, so I didn't want to get too far down the road without
that
knowing
would have been my question for you.
So do you want to explain what the first 7?
Yeah, there's a framing device of basically, you know how in like those really classic 80s movies there's always which was one? Princess Bride has a guy reading a story to a kid.
Yeah.
So in this framing device we have a senile old man telling the story of their family to his grandkids.
And kids, yeah. So he's like, basically the kid's like, what do you know about being a leader? And he's like, let me tell you. And he's like in a nursing home and like clearly not all there. Hence why all these people who wouldn't necessarily be in the same decades together.
So this is so this is a lunatic's recounting.
Yeah, yes.
That's great. I think a framing device is valuable. It'll help. I just like the idea that it's sort of in the fractured fairy tales world of like, hey, you didn't know the truth. The truth is, you've read all the history books, but the truth is, had they not gotten their act, somehow done this crazy thing I just witnessed, America would be a colony still. Very funny.
That's it?
No, I got a lot of other thoughts, but wait.
All right. No, I mean, funny, yeah. I mean, listening to it, and I knew that the actors, you guys did a great job, and Kim, our casting director, who does an amazing job. Can we clap? I have full and complete trust, so I knew we were going to knock it out of the park, and they did. It was amazing. So it was great to hear all the jokes stand up. As much as I was enjoying the jokes, and I was starting to wonder what their bigger purpose was. So I guess if the framing device says,
that's what that's about.
Yeah, if the framing device says, without what I'm going to tell you, we would have been fucked, which is what happens, right, Grandpa? Or is he just like, let me tell you about a story? Like if Grandpa in the nursing home really needs to set us on on the idea that there is a bigger story, because it was starting to be, set up joke, and it was like, okay, well, what what do they want from this movie? Like, what are they trying to do? Right now, all they're trying to do is get out of jail or get out of Lord Byron's prison. But I'm starting to lose, like, do they want to? They want to be in the freedom and the cool kids, but like, is there? I worried that it was going to start to veer off into just jokes, and which are fun, but if we just needed to make sure that it was.
And that was my question about the framing device, or about that. Because the stakes, the overriding stakes of the movie, it's a funny trap you're in that you can find your way out of, which is that the stakes of the movie are that if we follow what you're saying, that had this not happened, we would have been a colony of England today, right? Or we would have been fine, as you say. But we all know how it turned out. So there aren't real stakes in the movie, right? There's comedic stakes.
Yes.
And that's probably my other big note would be the stakes for the two characters. Could just use a little bit of clarification so that I can connect with them emotionally. I mean, it's really funny, and so but you still have to connect with these two. I gather that Ben Franklin's a bit of he's obviously a crazy inventor, but he drives a relationship toward risk.
Yes.
Right. That could use a little bit more push. The reluctance from George came through a couple times, but a couple times I wasn't sure that was the dynamic. But that would help a bit. Reconciliation of those two differences is what I'm going to become increasingly interested in as the story goes on. Amidst all of the laughter and all of the faux stakes, because we know how it really turned out, if I do realize that what I'm going to root for is the two of them, which I would encourage you to push farther apart, can come closer together. Because the two of them combined are going to be what ultimately, and this sounds cornball to say, will define the American spirit. That risk-taking combined with that sense of emerging duty and destiny. And so you really are onto something there, and I think that's what I'll root for in later.
That's great.
Yeah,
Cool.
thank you.
Would you like to know kind of where it goes? Because it really pivots at that point where we stop.
Now it's no longer about what we just gave you.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it's a musical.
No.
It's
the French boy ends up being Marie Antoinette.
Oh, Marie Antoinette.
Marie Antoinette.
And so it becomes like a love triangle and like
not like sort of a love triangle, but in like a weird way where Marie's like, I'm not having sex with any of you.
They neither of them have a chance.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
It becomes like a friend triangle.
And she leads them on this like almost National Treasure type fantasy.
Right.
Got to assemble the Harry Potter pieces to fight evil.
So what's the evil they're trying to fight? What is it that she's trying to
Lord Byron.
Yeah, the British Empire. Basically, she's trying to. I mean, going into the whole story thing, she's trying to basically make sure her country doesn't fall to the British.
As well.
And these are all precursor things to the American Revolution, pretty much. And how if there's like a second one, it would be the American Revolution.
Okay.
So what are George and Ben? Are they following her? I mean, are they getting?
They're following
You're
her.
making me nervous, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? Is that because I feel like, are we losing George and
Because
Ben?
that's what, as I say, I'm going to increasingly care about these two people.
Sure.
Yeah, because we don't want to get too lost in someone else's story.
Oh,
so.
no. I think they become more of a trio in general because both Ben and Georgie realize that they need to strive for something more than what they've been doing in Philadelphia.
And to prove themselves
Go.
as leaders.
Okay. Just don't lose Ben and George.
Yeah, which is like a good relationship, though. When they're proving, and I'll just one last thing, because I am obsessed with the two of them being, I think that's going to drive you emotionally in connection to it. They could look outside themselves for something objective to be the definition of a good leader, right? And they can also get caught up in the adventure and the national treasure of all that, which is entertaining and really will function for a lot of set for jokes. But I think what they really need to look to find the definition of leadership is to each other, and make an exchange with each other about their qualities, and then that'll help me in the end. Almost as like a rom-com. They have to get together.
Sure. Yeah. Anyone? Thoughts? Comments? Sean?
Yeah, super funny. Football comedy writer, congratulations.
Yeah.
The one thing I thought was, like, you remember the movie like 21 Jump Street?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the movie because it was kind of a buddy movie, kind of like a rom-com, and they showed like the characters were a little bit wounded at the beginning, and then they kind of, went on this crazy adventure. So the only thing I could suggest is maybe like a little bit of a scar, or a little bit of pain, like right early. So they're like, oh, because right at the very beginning he's just like, where's my buddy? And it's cool, but like, I think some of that space can be used for like a little bit of trauma. Like when you show Ben Franklin getting kind of tormented, I felt like that could come early, and just so we really kind of get a feel of like we can relate to that.
Like they're
more.
down like right away.
Yeah, well, we're kind of fixed, but a little early, so we can see that these people really need to, do what they're doing.
Sure.
But I thought it was really good.
Thanks. Thank you.
Because this is a movie about George finding his leadership mojo, right? That's sort of at its core.
Yeah.
So he needs to be so I guess is what you're saying. He needs to be sort of mojo-less completely and in some sort of pain, which you're on the way. Yeah. But yeah, I get that. Yes, down front.
Crazy, hilarious. Great job with all that. For me, the only thing that really bothered me was Ben and George are best friends, and the only reason I know that is because he says it. Like, there's nothing in there that makes me believe, or that solidifies that relationship for me. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, and it could be just a moment where I see why George is so enamored with Ben.
Like them enjoying each other?
Well, I see why Ben would want George around, because George is like, he makes him feel good about himself. He's an ego boost. It's kind of like the girl who has that best friend. But I don't get anything that endeared them to each other. You know what I mean? Like something where Ben saves Georgie from his overbearing parents, or something of that nature, where we see why George considers him his best friend. Not anything big, just something where I'm like, okay, I get it.
Cool.
Other than him just saying it.
Like a laugh together, or some kind of bonding. Sure,
Yeah,
some fun times.
Some action.
It's easy to.
Yeah. And maybe it's in there later and I didn't see it.
In the screenwriting book, they say, "Show, don't tell." Yeah. So don't just explain the relationship.
Yeah,
Give us a
handshake or
physical
something, right?
example, something. Anyway,
Cool.
Henry.
I'm speaking completely out of turn here, but
No, you're not. I actually picked you out of it.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That was it. I just want to get all of them. I think there is a potential danger there, and I think the reason a lot of us liked the character but weren't entirely sure where it was going, to introduce a main third character in your trio on page like 40. It just feels like late in the game to do that. It's fine if it's a two-hander and then there's a voice of reason that comes in, that changes their life. But if they are a trio, even if I'm not pitching at all, even if it's like a teaser or just a glimpse or something where they re-pop up, we can accept it more as an audience. But that character, we're like, oh cool, another random person that's going to make us laugh and whatever. To hear that they're a major character, I would almost feel a little cheated, I think, from the audience perspective.
Okay.
Speaking of which, we'll get to you. What do you feel? There were 32 speaking parts in those 30 pages. What's your feeling about that? Is that cool?
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I don't think that's an issue. None of them were demanding anything from me as an audience beyond. I didn't have to get engaged with all of them. I knew who my leads were. The triad, I think, is a very good point. Again, I thought the value when you brought a woman into the mix here, she's going to be revealed to be the obvious place to go, but it's obvious for a reason, because it often works, which is that's going to create questions for the two guys that they're going to have to answer if their relationship's going to go to the next place. How important is their friendship? What if one of them were to fall in love? What would that mean? They kind of, it's a well-traveled route, but it does work in a buddy comedy.
They definitely do go down that conflict.
Right, but in that respect, to what this gentleman's saying, she's not in it's not a triangle. It's
Right.
The two of them are challenged by yet another outside force.
Do you think it would be more helpful, though, if we did see, like you're saying, like this mysterious boy just revealed at some point once or twice in that earlier scene?
My opinion, just from what I've heard right now, is it's a story about these two people and their relationship and how it's going to grow or break down, in which case she is an outside force acting on that. If you introduced her earlier, then that would change everything. It's hard to know. We grew in this short period of time to like these characters and to want them to succeed or fail hilariously, whatever. And I just kind of I put all of my energy into them, and now there's this third person. It's going to be hard to transfer it.
I think it's something we need to think about, because Marie comes in this moment, and it's really how she affects the two of them and their relationship. So it may work. It may be helpful to reveal him her earlier. But so yeah, I don't know. I think we kind of have to look at the whole thing and see.
I mean, like I think like a visual
you actually
thing
said something like
makes
that
sense.
the other night about
Plus, there are a bunch of jokes you can make about if she's dressed like a little boy and one of them is like oddly attracted to her. I mean,
that's the next scene. Yeah, they don't know what to do about the fact
that boy is hot. That might be better earlier as you're setting, and then it's like they're in the prison together, and then it gets super awkward. So it's like I think that's what was happening. Okay, we'll take yes.
Yeah, just adding to that again, it reminded me a lot of South Park, the movie, where there's that French character who comes and helps the kids, but is there for a moment to help those characters grow or put them to the test, and then dies tragically. You finish what I've started, or whatever, So they're not to the end of the movie. It's just another set piece for Ben and George to go along with. And also, I feel as far as the love triangle is concerned, it seems like George is kind of interested in Betsy, and then it seems like those are going to be end up the pairings at the end of the day. So
we're going to worry about Betsy if he's flirting with the Marie Antoinette. Yeah, fair enough. Right. Luke.
I'm actually very pro Marie Antoinette. I think that trio would be really interesting. What is it? She's French royalty. Is she missing?
So, okay, so she is Austrian, but marries into the French royal family. And her Austrian roots, she's from this really secret society that made sure that the Vajra was apart, because there's 3 pieces to it.
Sure, but what I'm saying is tying back to earlier concerns about this character has come out of nowhere and maybe a little bit late. Is it a big deal that Marie Antoinette is missing?
She says she's missing. She's basically
she's not married yet.
She's betrothed to somebody, and she's like, I don't want to marry. She
I get
reveals
that, but she's just randomly in Lord Byron's dungeon.
Yeah.
And she's a member
because
of
she's not a very important figure in
no,
French.
I get it, but what
is the question? I guess.
I guess I'm just asking is she important enough that people are looking for her, and is that something we find out
in our
before
script
we
now?
meet her?
Yeah.
No.
But she could be.
She's not married yet. So she's not very important in history yet either. She doesn't
She's working in the shadows.
Is that your question? I think that's okay.
So she's not
Sorry.
No, she's not full on Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake and all that stuff.
And also, fun facts while we're doing history lessons. Lord Byron's actually based on a real romantic poet who was known for his flamboyant and excessive aristocratic ways. And he also kept a bear. He kept a pet bear while he was at university at Trinity because he found because he was such a dick. He found a loophole in their rules that said they couldn't keep pet dogs and stuff. So he was like, well, there's nothing in there about bears. I'll have a pet bear. And legally they couldn't do anything about it. So it's based on real stuff. But our version of what we'd like that.
The bear talks.
The bear will talk at the end.
Who said on the Fire and Fury or whatever?
That's Lord
Byron. I thought the bear. The bear does speak. At the bear didn't see I saw it coming.
She's British, but
she's British. Yeah,
of course she is. Just one more. We have time for one more, and then we'll move on. I saw someone's hand up. Yes, Kim, I'll get it. I'll take you both. I'll do both.
There was a script that won the Nicholl Fellowship a few years back called The United States of Fucking Awesome. Do you know about it?
No.
Because you should read it because it's very similar in tone. It's about a reimagining of the founding fathers, but that has a very specific plot. Page 1, we know that Thomas Jefferson loses the Declaration of Independence, and they need to find it again. And so you know immediately what it's about, and there's an anchor for all the shenanigans. And I think that I love it, but I think it needs something just to focus everything.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
thank you.
And then you said that back.
When you introduced Betsy, she was the one that I kind of felt was going to serve that Marie Antoinette part as you went on. So I guess my question is, what actually is going to be her role?
Betsy?
So Betsy's needle, eventually, at the end, she, people comment on her needle several times. And it's a giant
really
needle. It's comically large. And it turns out it's the third piece, right?
It's
of the Vajra. Yeah, it's the third piece of the Vajra. So they end up going all the way to they go to
Europe.
London to go to the Hellfire Club to find the second piece, which was also a real place with all this debauchery and stuff. And then they find out that the third piece is back in Philadelphia where they started, and it happens to have been Betsy Ross's huge needle the whole time. And lightning and the kite and all this stuff.
And that giant statue we saw ends up being like a Power Rangers type robot. And then of course our trio ends up making like a giant Statue of Liberty eagle to fight it. So it's
Lady
like a
Liberty.
giant monster type fight at the end.
Lady
yeah.
Liberty,
It's
like,
very
kicks-
realistic.
Yeah, it's more grounded.
Yeah,
as we
yeah,
go.
yeah. It gets wild.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congrats.